Welcome to our podcast, Ethics Conspiracies. This is episode 3.
Hello and welcome. This is gonna get ethic.
Don't ever say that again, please. Anyway, the point of this podcast is to talk about and reason through many ethical dilemmas. Does anyone have anything?
I have one that a listener told me they went through. Phoenix is the site of a major riot and looting is rampant. You are walking down the street when a group of people break down the doors of an electronics store. There are no police or security around, and to make matters worse, there's an electrical blackout and the security cameras are all down. Dozens of people are taking advantage of this situation and grabbing electronic items, big and small. What should you do?
That's a crazy dilemma.
For real.
I wonder what Aristotle would do if he was in this situation.
We don't have to wonder. Aristotle was, as a believer in virtue and the 4 types of person, would have a very strong opinion if you were here.
I wish he was here.
Aye. Let's pretend I'm Aristotle.
Bet.
So, Aristotle, what would you do in this situation?
Well, these people looting from the store are what we call the vicious and incontent.
Explain a little more, please.
These people do not have knowledge of what is right, or they choose not to acknowledge what they are supposed to do. In this case, I would assume that a very great deal of them are choosing to not do the right thing, and they know that they should not be looting a store.
That makes sense for real.
Psych, bruh, I was tricking you. You obviously have not studied my teachings.
What you mean?
While the rioters could definitely fall into these categories of person, I do not have the knowledge of them to assume the type of person they are. They are likely acting off of instinct and their sensitive, irrational type of soul. I do, however, have some responsibility to encourage these people not to loot the store. I know for certain that I should not loot the store, and it would be best for me to tell these people not to do such a thing and leave the area.
Word.
You wouldn't take out your phone and film some of these people so that they can't be held to justice?
What's a phone?
Oh, bruh, I forgot you from a long time ago.
Anyway, it is best to try to reason with the rioters so they are able to contemplate their actions and not just rely on instinct. The person who performs justice achieves happiness, so holding these people accountable could definitely be a legitimate obligation as a person of virtue.
Bet. Appreciate it, Aristotle.
If you ever say that again, we finna have a problem, bruh.
Don't ever say that again, bruh. Alright, bye,
Alright, peace.
Aristotle.
Alright, I'm back. See, while Aristotle has a much different understanding of the world than us due to the period of time he is from, he still has some very compelling points about the purpose of reason and when justice is necessary. It is important to know that his systems of ethics are based on virtue and many types of people and personalities that there are.
That's
very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you guys think it's interesting that he wouldn't even try to stop these people? How is reasoning going to work in this situation?
You see, Aristotle was a huge advocate for reasoning and justice, so I think he would have reasoned through the situation and come to a conclusion that attacking the rioters would escalate the situation. Aristotle was a very virtuous person and would always try to meet in the middle of his desires in the situation.
Interesting.
Speaking of reasoning, Immanuel Kant was someone who expanded on Aristotle's vision of reason and viewed it as the singular thing we should base our morals on. He would have had some great takes on this dilemma.
I wonder what he would say.
Let's pretend I'm Kant.
What would you do in our dilemma?
Let's see. Before we evaluate what we should do in this situation, we ought to place it in a categorical imperative. Would it be a legitimate possibility for everyone in the world to steal? And would the world be good if this were the case?
No, this would obviously be impossible.
Good. So we can rule out the biggest temptation of this whole dilemma, and that is to join in the looters. It is our perfect, absolute duty and obligation to refrain from stealing, and we must act out of goodwill and avoid this temptation. Another possible problem within this dilemma is how to handle the rioters. The looters of this store are using the owner and his hard work as a means to getting whatever they want. I would have a duty in this case to protect the owner and his store, and therefore would have to intervene in this situation. It is important to note that I would not try to stop the looters because I am scared of the punishments, but because it is my duty and purpose to stop this moral evil that is occurring.
Wow. But isn't it quite a risk to intervene in the looting?
The consequences are insignificant. It is unequivocally true, however, that it is my moral duty to prevent the stealing of goods from the store.
Yeah, that's a compelling argument. I recently heard the story of Maria von Herbert. Can you talk to us about that?
No, I can't. I actually have to go.
Oh, okay.
I'm back.
Wow.
Whoa.
Kant definitely has some issues.
Yep. To me, he's a tool and bad anthropologist.
Kant did contribute a lot to our modern ethics today. He has some very controversial points on the purpose of our lives. Guess what? He doesn't even believe that we should try to be happy.
That's ridiculous, bruh.
Kant was a pretty miserable person. However, he was able to create a system for decision making based on goodwill and duty. He presents to us that we should have perfect duties or absolute obligations that we must perform, and imperfect duties that we should perform. An example of a perfect duty could be not looting the store. An example of an imperfect duty could be to prevent the looters from stealing more.
Wow. This sounds similar to the ethical altruist point of view.
I'm an ethical altruist.
Really? I'm an ethical egoist.
Well, how would you guys tackle this dilemma?
With ethical egoism, my focus always remains on how I can benefit myself and act in my best self-interest, in order to preserve myself while also benefiting from the looting. It may be a good idea to take only a few small items and then leave.
Alright, well, as an altruist, I would have to disagree with you. In both ideal and reciprocal altruism, helping other people get out of the turmoil is the best thing to do in this situation. Looting is how you get in trouble.
Wait, what is ideal and reciprocal altruism?
Alright, bruh. In ideal altruism, it is outlined that the other is always more important than the self, no matter the circumstance. For example, if I saw the owner, or anyone for that matter, trying to escape the dangerous riot, I would have an obligation to help the other, even though it was a pose of danger to me. With reciprocal altruism, I am observing the fact that if I help someone to safety in this situation, they will eventually return the favor to me when I need it. This is much more of a motivation to do the right thing in this dilemma, but both forms of altruism suggest that I should go out of my way to help the people being affected by the looting and rioting.
Nick, what do you think about that?
Well, how could helping people in this situation make you happy at all? It's very high risk to your own life for such a small reward. All that I know is that if the items inside the store lead to my happiness, it is worth it to steal them if I can leave safely. Especially since this is an electronics store and there is no way I can be caught. The best thing to do that helps me the most is to take some items. Everyone ought to do the thing in their best self-interest. I am a universal egoist.
But rescuing people from the rioting contributes to a much greater, higher feeling of satisfaction.
Hey, I guess we'll agree to disagree.
Wow, boys, that was a very heated debate. Altruism and egoism seem to counteract each other a lot.
Yeah, but helping others is still the best thing to do.
Anyways, this was a very fun episode and a very fun dilemma to talk about. We weighed a few problems here: whether looting is worth it, how to serve justice to the looters, and how to leave the premises safely. We hope to see you in our next episode.
It's been ethic.
Alright,
Hit it. Let me real quick.